Okay, so this week, why do we always start, we always start with the word okay. Every fucking week, both of us. It's never just this week.
You should pick a new word to start with. Like just a random, hold on a second. I'm going to leave this in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Random word generator. You ready?
I've never been more ready in my life.
Oh, that's loading. Generate random words. Here we go.
First one.
Pattern.
First one that comes.
Pattern. Let's try it again. Here we go.
Pattern. You bitch.
I really try not to. Here we go.
I had it. Pattern. We are continuing Joaquin Phoenix Month by discussing Come On, Come On. This film came out in 2021. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, Gaby Hoffman, Scoot McNairy, Molly Webster, Jaboukie Young-White, and Woody Norman. It was shot in black and white. It follows the story of an uncle and his nephew who are brought together by unforeseen circumstances, and they have to learn to coexist. It is a touching thought piece that explores the connections between adults and children, past and future, and I'm excited to talk about it.
As am I, Zach. I'm very excited to discuss this film. I have a lot to talk about, but I have one question for you. And that is, but is Come On, Come On good?
Well, we're going to find out here shortly, aren't we?
We are.
But is it good podcast? Yeah. Pattern. Hello.
Welcome to the But Is It Good podcast. I am your host, Hunter Callahan.
And I am your host, Zach Olson.
And we are here to discuss patterns. Do you like
Patterns are
Argyle?
everywhere.
Do you like Checkered?
See, the trailer for Argyle doesn't have me very... I don't know. Like, so the movie itself looks funny and like, ha ha ha. Why is the cat in it? I think we've had this discussion, but suffice it to say, I like a nice seersucker, or what's the pattern called? It's like on the the bandanas, like.
I don't know, but I was just talking about.
Or
Or like a nice houndstooth.
Yeah.
Zach, how are you? Are you feeling better?
No. I'm not coughing at the moment, but I have a sinus infection, a viral sinus infection.
That sounds like it's no fun.
It's not fun. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I feel like some things happened, but I can't remember what they were. I'm good.
You went to New York, right?
Oh, yeah, that was great. New York was awesome. I couldn't remember when we last recorded. New York was a lot of fun, yes. We had a good time. And then, Thanksgiving. We apologize for being a day late, but Zach couldn't talk yesterday.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm good. I feel like I was going to say something, but I forgot what I was going to do. Doesn't matter. I'm good.
Good.
Everyone's
That's
good.
Good to hear.
Oh, I know what it was. Hollis saw his first movie in the theaters.
Oh, cool.
We went yesterday to see
Was
Trolls
it the
3.
Terrifier 2? Oh, what?
Yes. No, we saw Trolls 3.
Cool.
And he did very good. It was a lot of fun.
Was it like a true, okay, so there's when a kid's movie comes out, there's showings for a kid's movie, and then there's quieter showings that they turn the volume way down for so it's not sensory overload for little kids. Was it were you in the movie?
Yeah, we were in the movie. It was
Cool.
It was a matinee. It was 11 a.m., but it was still, as from what I could understand, it was a normal showing of a film.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of fun. He did really good.
That's good.
But that's kind of it. That's kind of what's going on. And then now we're doing Come On, Come On.
Come on. Let's do it.
Shall we? Zach, before I hand it over to you, as usual, please like and subscribe and share and follow and all that good stuff. That is all. All right. You're up.
Okay, so as Hunter stated, we are talking about Come On, Come On this week. I would like to start this discussion, and this is a completely unique thought that I just had in this moment. We've never done this before.
Okay.
But I would like to ask you, Hunter,
Yes.
to give me your first impressions of the film. Spoiler free, don't, go too deep into the plot. Just,
I'm unprepared for this. This is the first I've ever heard of any podcast ever or any media ever doing this sort of question.
Okay, don't overdo it.
What?
Oh, goodness.
Okay, first impressions. I cried.
Yeah.
I cried. I did cry. And I thought about Hollis a lot and myself and just people. But I thought it was really, really, I thought this was a brilliant film. I'm wondering if I'm just biased to Joaquin Phoenix movies because I like everything in. But I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was a super touching and in so many ways too. Like this is a lot. It's about, yes, it's about a man and his nephew, but it's about so much more too. Like it touches on so many things. And kind of this another film of his that kind of, in a way, asks like, what does it mean to be alive and like all these kind of things and the relationships and.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, I thought the direction was really great. I thought the performances were great. This kid was awesome. He was really awesome. I loved the monochrome. I loved the black and white. I thought that was a really cool choice. And I just thought it was great. It's just one of those movies that, like, you just sort of watch life happen to these people. And I thought it was really beautiful. I really did.
It was. So
really
Woody Norman is the child,
mm-hmm.
and he's British. So the whole time he was doing like an accent, like
that's crazy,
an American accent. It didn't come through at all to me.
That's awesome.
Normally it kind of does,
Yeah.
Where it's like they're putting on a No, I agree wholeheartedly. I also cried. I also thought about Hollis. Probably in a different context because I was thinking 7 years from now, that's going to be me and Hollis when, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
No, but honestly, this film it was extremely touching. You're right; it touches on so many different things. I was finding myself so empathetic for Viv. In particular, like in what she was going through, which is great because at the beginning of the movie, like my first impression of Viv was not a good one, and we can talk about that.
Really?
Well, I mean, I don't know, just the way that it was presented to us, I think, because we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay. This is the spoiler-free.
I think I know what you're talking about. The
spoiler-free review. Okay.
Sorry, it's just the first time I've ever done
on.
this, so I was new.
Come on, Hunter.
Come on.
That's the movie that we're talking about, right?
It is.
No, I thought this was phenomenal. I am in agreement with you that I've ever seen has just been like, or I'll say most have like blown me out of the water. This is at some point during this film, I was like, I want to do more of these. I want 10 of. I've given us a quota, 10 movies like this before we can do a superhero film, and then we got to do 10 more.
Hold on,
film.
you okay? You cut out for a second. You're kind of in and out for some reason, so I was catching every word. So you said 10 of these for every superhero film that we do.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, what's the next superhero film? Doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. I think it's Aquaman. Have we done 10 of these?
We gonna do.
I don't know. Can you rattle like your cable? Because I feel like you're cutting in and out.
I am. Let me check my. No, I'm getting steady waveforms. I think it's the internet connection.
I can hear you fine now. Continue.
Interesting. So you think,
I think
well,
we're fine.
I think it's time for.
Yeah.
I was going to say spoilers, but
that too.
Yeah,
Bruh,
you
dude.
tell him what.
Aaron Dessner, and his brother did the music for this. I didn't even realize that.
Really?
Do you know who they are? The National?
No.
Okay, Aaron Dessner is one of the producers and one of the main influences on Folklore.
Oh, cool. Oh, he's also okay. Yeah. He's done a lot
That's
of
awesome.
stuff with Ed
That's really
Sheeran.
cool.
Do you say? Sorry, this is a complete side tangent.
That's fine.
I have people in my life that say Bon Iver, and then I have people in my life that say Bon Iver.
Yes, I say Bon Iver.
Cool. Me too.
Also, people don't realize that Bon Iver is not a person.
Yeah.
It is a band.
Right.
People think of Justin Vernon as Bon Iver.
Right.
He is not. He is just the front man and singer
Of the band. Mm-hmm.
It began as a solo project, but it is a band. Okay, just like Leonard Skinner is a band.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway.
But no one ever thought Leonard Skinner was
also,
the person. Did they?
Yeah, but Leonard Skinner was actually named after a person.
Sure, it was named after their high school principal, and they spelled it funny to make fun of him.
Yeah. Anyway, so Zach has 60 seconds to explain the entire film, every shot, every scene, every word of dialogue. And if he does it faster, he loses.
He won't.
And if he does it longer, he loses. So you have to do it 60 seconds on the dot. Zach, at your leisure, sir.
Yeah, give me a second. I gotta get my Snuggie up, snuggified.
Is it snuggified?
Yeah, we're snugged. Okay, this is... Sorry. This is Come On, movie in a minute. In 3, 2, 1, go. Johnny is a radio producer, or fuck.
I wasn't listening.
3, 2, 1, go. Johnny is an audio producer. He goes from city to city, interviewing people, asking them questions, much like one of the co-hosts of this podcast. He calls his sister because I think it's the anniversary of their mother dying, and they're just like checking in on each other, seeing what's going on. She says things aren't that great. My husband, or like divorced, I'm not sure. He's going through it. I need someone to watch my child. So Johnny watches Jesse. They connect. At first, it's like very tumultuous. Actually, it's kind of tumultuous throughout, but that's life. That's what, relationships are, and they learn about each other. Little by little, it unravels that why Johnny's relationship with his sister isn't that great, and why Jesse's relationship with his parents isn't that great. And then at the end, it all comes together, and it's really heartwarming and beautiful, and it's great.
Amazing.
Was that good?
That's brilliant. Perfect. All right, let's do it. Shall we?
Let's go. Do you have any notes on my performance there?
No, I think it was immaculate.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty hard compliment to get, especially in baseball. Okay, so I just realized this is 8:24.
Yeah,
when you're watching. I was just gonna say, like I said, maybe I like all of Joaquin Phoenix movies, but I like most of their stuff too.
Yeah, A24 does a good job. Although, did they do that Men movie?
They did do Men. Men was weird, man.
Men was weird.
Men
they
was
also did
weird.
that goat movie, the goat person movie that I wanted to watch, but we didn't end up watching it. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes. I can't remember what it's called.
Lamb. It was called Lamb. That's what it was.
God, they have a lot of good movies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, we open up in what city is he in at first? Is it New York? Does it say Detroit?
He's in Detroit.
Detroit?
Talking to kids, asking them, what do you think the future's going to be like? What are your aspirations? What are your fears? Do you think we're going to make it?
What do you think this movie was about to you? Like, what do you think the biggest message was? Do you think it was the kids of the future thing, or was it more about the relationships to you? How'd you take it?
It's about the relationships for me. Like the questions, him being this audio producer who's asking these questions to these kids was a great like opening, because I think this film is about like the relationship and, you know, the connections and also sort of the disconnect between adult generations and the children who are, you know, going to be inheriting this earth.
Yeah. There was a handful of, I thought all the questions and stuff and all those kind of montages where they was talking to the kids was really great, but there was a couple of lines that stuck out to me. Excuse me.
Oh, he's yawning already.
Sorry, I should have had
that espresso. Yeah.
I should have had the espresso.
In case the audience isn't aware, Hunter got an espresso machine.
I did get an espresso machine, and it's amazing. Anyway, there was one where it was like, I think it was in the first one where because they're in Detroit, and this one girl was talking about like, you know, oh, people say like how bad it is in Detroit. Detroit's awful, blah 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 blah.
But they're not living here.
And she's like, how would you know? Like, you don't live in Detroit. I've lived here my whole life, and I was raised here. And I was like, I feel like I've had that conversation with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think I wasn't the one saying, oh, that place is awful when I've never been there. But I remember like one time, I think it was last year, I went to Chicago, and I got back, and I was at the airport in Atlanta getting back, and this guy was like, where are you guys coming from? And I was like, Chicago. And he was like, oh man, like it's awful. It's just a terrible city now. I used to live there, and now everyone's running, you know, the airport's flooded with homeless people. It's awful. And I was like, dude, I literally was just there. I didn't see any of that. And I just think it's funny how like, it does seem like there's like a connotation. I'm not going to say the older generation because I don't want to blanket statement people, but that shows the disconnect of just, I mean, you know, of this like,
I mean, it's the
labeling.
same thing. Don't people say that about L.A.? And don't people say that about, I mean, I kind of say that about New York City with all the rats and the...
I didn't see a single rat when I was there, Zach. I didn't see a single rat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure.
But no, actually, yeah, totally. I totally get that. And then the other one was towards the end where the kid's like, my mom says that I can't, you know, you're not supposed to cry, you're supposed to be tough and strong. And then I told her once that I could cry about something, like I could cry, and she got really mad or whatever. And I was like, dude, that makes me so angry for you.
Didn't he say, I think that's what hurts me the most? Like that's like the most painful thing that's happened to him was to be told that he can't show his emotion.
Yeah. Dude, that I was like, I was feeling it there, but because literally like before we started this, Hollis had like a meltdown about something, which is rare, mind you, but I was so proud of him because he was, screaming, took him upstairs, and I was like, just talking to him. I was like, dude, we got to slow down, calm, breathe. And after a while, you know, he's really good at breathing. He would do that. And I was like, what's
He's
up,
good
man?
at breathing?
Well, no, but we'll say, take a breath, and he'll go,
I'm fucking with you.
He can breathe. And I was like, what are you feeling? What's going on? And this is a proud dad moment where I was like, this is a 2-year-old, and he's already trying, and he was like, sad. I'm sad. And I was like, that's really good. Really, really good that you can say that.
Now go to sleep,
Now
sad.
go to bed, sad boy.
Oh, goodness.
But I think it's fascinating because I loved, like, it does pose questions. Obviously, there's overarching questions about, like, you know, what kind of world are we leaving? What kind of country are we leaving? What kind of all of these things. But I say all that to say it's a long way of saying that actually for me, I'm the same way, that the movie was more about the relationship and kind of seeing that develop.
Mhm.
But I wanted your thoughts on those interviews. That was really interesting and how they kind of intertwined that with the story.
No, it was really great. And some of the things kind of come up, right? So we were talking about the girl in Detroit who was like, how would you know? You don't live here. And at one point in the film, Johnny's talking to Jesse, and Jesse's like, I'm mad or something. He was like, I don't like my mom. I think he said I don't like my mom, and Johnny said, like, you don't feel that. That's not how you feel. And Jesse was like, my feelings are inside me. How the hell would you know? Basically.
Yeah, you don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was dude, I loved him. I thought he was just the coolest kid.
Yeah, he was great.
Not just because he was weird and silly, but like I loved that one. Like when they were, which I laughed because being a parent, like I felt this. But when Johnny was sitting, because he talks to himself on his microphone, and he was like, "We got back," and I was so tired, and
He was not.
He was not, and I was laughing about that. But then he like walks up and he's like, brush your teeth. He's like, I didn't bring my toothbrush. And he's like, oh man, come on. And then he just goes, do you have a hard time expressing your emotions? And I was like, I like this kid. Like this kid. He's really on top of things.
But also, I picked up on that line in particular because that was in one of the books that he was reading to him earlier, like The Bipolar Bear or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. The Bipolar Bear is like the dad in the family, the Bipolar Bear, had difficulty expressing his emotions and blah, 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 blah. So.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because okay, so during that story, it actually shows a montage of his dad, right?
It does.
Yeah,
And then like 15 minutes later, we get the scene where Jesse, and I assume he was being like facetious, but he's like, so I call you dad, or, oh, no, never mind. That was the orphan thing.
He was the orphan.
Yeah, the orphan role play. Yeah. Never mind. But we get this like illusion that, Johnny is standing in as like this father figure. And then later on he says, do you have difficulty expressing your emotions?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, and I don't want to discuss all this and like be like, oh, well, yeah, my parents or whatever. But like, I do find that it's funny. It's funny when, and I haven't experienced this yet, I'm sure I will, but it's funny when there seems to be a connotation when like a younger generation like challenges the older generation.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny now that I'm saying that is actually there's a line that Viv says to Johnny about their mom when she says like, I was the only one who ever challenged them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there does seem to be like an inherent like defensiveness to the younger generation. I mean, like, well, they don't know anything. They're kids, But I liked how receptive Johnny was to it because he was just like, I'm feeling a bit frustrated. Yeah. Like he was honest. It was nice. But anyway, we can start from the beginning. I know I'm jumping around already.
Okay. In the beginning, there was sound.
Oh, yes. And
Sorry.
darkness.
You were gonna say something.
Well, no, I don't know if we want to jump right into this, but you said Viv's introduction, like you didn't.
So we're introduced to Viv through the phone call, and it's clear that her and Johnny don't get along, right? Like it's a distant call, and then we get this like montage of their elderly mother who is in failing health. And she's just like yelling at him. So that was the first impression I got, was that like she was just like angrily, they were fighting, and then later on we get the montage where like she's obviously like having memory issues, and she's like, I need to go. I need to.
My dad's
Your
coming to
father's
pick me up or whatever.
Your
yeah.
father's or my father's coming to pick me up, and Johnny's just like going along with it, trying to make her comfortable, and Viv wants to like call her on it and be like, lay down.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like in the beginning of the movie, I wasn't sure about Viv, but that opinion changed throughout because Viv does a lot,
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that's, one, if with the scene with the mom's like has dementia or whatever it is really hard anyway, because like, what do you do? Like, do you go along with it? Do you indulge? Do you play along or do you not?
Mm-hmm.
That's already hard enough as it is. But then, she's juggling, well, one, being a mom, but two, Paul is like, she kind of has to, she's like the caretaker. She's like, it's just like she has two kids,
Yeah.
And it's sad because Paul, that's a legitimate and can be very seriously disorder. He's bipolar, but she's sort of like roped into it, and like, I don't know. It's hard. That's hard. That's a hard thing to navigate. I really loved the motherhood monologue. He was like reading that, some sort of short, maybe like a poem or whatever. And I thought of Hannah a lot because I was listening to it and I was like, this is so true. Kind of, it's like an impossible, like you're guaranteed to lose essentially. And that's, a lot of because of what society has put on parents, but particularly mothers, and like the impossibility. Reminded me a little bit of a more serious take on like that monologue in Barbie, where she was just like, you can't do anything without doing something wrong. I thought she was really layered, and like she had some points where it's really fascinating where she's talking to him and she's like, sometimes I can't stand to be in the same room as him, but I love him more than I can even understand,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought it was really good.
It was really good. It's great.
I was going to ask you a question, but I forgot what it was.
Ask any
what
question.
What happens? Any question? Are you wearing a Snuggie?
Yeah, but you knew that. Ask me a real question. I also said like 5 minutes ago I need to get my Snuggie snug, so the audience also knows.
So I'm just an idiot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So ask me a serious question.
About the movie or just about anything?
Whatever you want.
I don't know.
Trying to keep this thing moving along, and I'm just like, ask me any question. Stall for 30 seconds to a minute, and then just say, I don't know.
I don't know. I got put on the spot, and I got performance anxiety.
Ask me to ask you a question.
Ask me a question.
What color is your underwear? Do you see how easy that was? What color is it?
I think it's black. Should I check?
It's not important that you check. Okay.
It's black.
Great, thank you. Do you have like majority black underwear, but then you've got like fun colors for sometimes?
Actually, I'm embarrassed to say what exactly I'm wearing right this second.
It's a G-string, isn't it?
It is a G-string. No, I have a couple pairs of underwear that are like super comfortable, but like they're really like, these are Batman underwear that someone just gave me, and I was like, I guess, but they're so comfortable, so I keep them.
That's great.
I can rock them though. I mean, I can pull it off.
The Batman underwear?
The Batman underwear.
Yeah. I can see you like, it's like late at night and you're like looking at yourself in the mirror and Hannah walks in the bathroom and she's like, what are you doing? And you're just like, I can pull these off, right? She's like, whatever, yeah, go to bed. I'm
She would
fucking with you.
she would do that. She'd be like, "Sure,
Yeah.
whatever. What do you want me to say?"
Oh goodness.
Oh, that's so funny. What was I gonna say? I was gonna ask you about Johnny and your thoughts on Johnny and just kind of his art. Actually, this is your episode. I don't know what I'm doing. What do you want to talk about?
I wanted to ask you about Johnny and your thoughts on Johnny and his whole thing. So
You're a really good host.
the best hosts adapt. And if
That's
the
true.
conversation was heading in that direction, I'm going to keep it going in that direction. So tell me, tell me what you can tell me what you think about Johnny.
I think he needs to go to therapy, and I think that's what Jesse was for him. I thought it was really fun and endearing to kind of watch him learn how to open up to himself, actually, to himself and to his sister. Because I think what's interesting is like this could have been a movie that was like, what do you get when you get the independent lone wolf uncle and the rambunctious weird kid, and you put them together, and he's like, "Oh, I hate kids," and now, but then he's like, "Oh, I love you." It was never that. Like, he loves his nephew. You know, he's excited to see him. It's like, "Oh, you're so big," you know, all these things. But it's fascinating to kind of see him navigate. I'm not going to say parenthood because that's not what it is, but like his stuff. Like early on, he's like, "Why aren't you married?" Which this is no, I don't think the film, and we aren't saying like someone has to be married or not married, but like he's a little kid. He doesn't know anymore. He's like, "Why aren't you? Why don't you have anybody?"
Are you throwing shade at me right now?
I am throwing, like, if you could take the biggest oak tree on a sunny day, that amount of shade.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm not throwing any shade. But I think it's interesting because he obviously has a relationship that he has not really processed, you know? And he's just like, you know, just, you know? And he doesn't actually really say much, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting some water. Can you?
So
Your turn, because now I have a cough.
yeah. Why do you have a cough? Are you sick?
I think you gave me germs through the screen.
Oh, wow. Do you think, okay, so I cough into the mic. It travels through the cable, into your cable, and through your mic.
Yeah, exactly. That's how this stuff works, isn't it?
All cables are connected, technically.
All cables are connected. Your interface knows my interface and sent some over.
Yeah.
Because your interface knows that you hate me.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Ask it away. Any question.
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
I don't.
Okay.
I just have a son.
If you did, right? If you did. Why did I ask you that? That was the stupidest fucking question I could have asked you. I know that you don't have any nieces or nephews. I should have asked you if you had any, like, young cousins. Because that's a question that I don't know the answer to. But I knew you didn't have any nieces or nephews.
Well, he's like, you're a bad friend who doesn't know my life, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I love you. I love you.
So if one of your young cousins, like first cousin, second cousin, whatever, just like came up to you and was like, "Tell me your baggage," would you just like spill it?
Probably, yeah. Actually, 'cause
Really?
I do that. That's fine. A random person can ask me that, and I'd be like, "Yeah, sure. Here you go."
Cool.
But yeah, I've got a couple of younger cousins. They're not as young as Hollis. Hollis is the youngest in the family at the moment.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe not. He's close. But yeah, I mean, I fully
something that you were like really vulnerable about, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be that with anybody, honestly. I mean, obviously, every situation is different, but with a kid, from what I've learned this. Hollis is only 2, but like, they're the purest form of existence. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like in some like overly cheesy way. I mean like literally like they don't know. They are unfiltered. They are unjaded. They're unbiased to things. They just, you are the ones who get to color their opinions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I think a kid, I'm not sure where I was going with that, but I expect, you know, when Hollis gets older, I'm sure he'll ask me randomly and surprisingly hard questions at very random times.
Mm.
And I'll have to know to be like, well, do I like play it off? And I don't want to say lie, but like be like, oh, you know, whatever. Or do I say, hey, this is X, Y, and Z, or this is what happened to me. This is what I did. These are my mistakes. This is what I tripped up on. You know, like this is a really dumb example and doesn't actually fully equate, but I thought about it, so I'm going to say it. Hollis has this Lego airplane.
Okay.
It's big. Like it's a big Lego airplane. Like the wingspan's like this, and you know, you have to hold it with two hands.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves it. And he breaks it every time.
Yeah.
And it was given to us completed. So we don't have the instructions. So a handful of times I've literally rebuilt this thing from just intuition. Okay?
How many pieces is it? Like, is it hard to put together?
There's enough pieces that like are obvious what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that you can kind of figure it out. But this probably, I don't want to say 100, but maybe something like that, close to it. So it's a lot. And he breaks it every time. And I mean, eventually it's in a million pieces. And so we put it in this little bucket and kind of stuff's under, you know, it's kind of buried. And he found a piece and he was like, Dad, build big airplane. And I was like, oh, shit. And I literally had the thought of, okay, buddy, I'll build it during your nap. And then like he'd go to bed and I'd be like, okay, I'm off the hook. I'm gonna build it. But I was like, hey, bud, no, I don't think, like, I was just like, no, we're not going to do that today, you know? And he was sad, but then he was like, okay, that's a really dumb example, but like, you can make little choices in everything and every day to be like, oh, it's just like, if I challenge you, Zach, and I think this would be really funny. When someone's like, randomly on the street, how you doing? Tell them.
Oh, I used to do this all the time. I used to do this. We had when I was in in college, I was a psychology major, right? I want to come back to another question. But I was a psychology major, and I took a social psychology class, and it was all about like, you know, social cues and word framing and, you know, different things like that. And one of our assignments was literally to 10 times during the week when someone asked us like, how are you doing? Tell them like honestly and see how they reacted. People didn't like it. People don't like it.
Yeah, but it's so funny because like there's something about a kid where it's like what are they gonna do? Judge you? Like they don't. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. It's where it's like if some kid asked me like, how are you? And I was like, dude, I'm really sad. They'd be like, oh. I mean, they might not care, but like they'll listen. They'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, or they might not. But like an adult might be like literally put off by that. Be like, I don't care. I don't want to know.
Do you think there's limits?
Yes, of course there's limits.
To the honesty. It's like you can't... if Hollis was like, Daddy, how are you? And it was like late at night and like he was about to go... You can't be like, I'm waiting for you to go to bed because I'm horny. Like you can't say that. You can't say that to him, right? There's just no way. There'd be so much explaining. God. Like, what does that mean? Are you a toad? Like,
that's hilarious.
Or some sort of lizard.
I understand that, but
the question I wanted to come back to.
Yes.
Your example. Are you telling me that your first reaction was to lie to your child?
No.
And you had to overcome that to say, you know what, I'm going to tell him the truth.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Don't twist my example.
No. I'm asking for clarification.
No, but there's tricks of the trade, right? Where like I know kind of how to navigate this so he won't get mad or like to be like, okay, well, I know he's got to go have lunch in 10 minutes. He's not going to, I don't, I'm working. I don't have time to build it. So what do? I try and push it off, or do I say, I'll do it later, and I'm not sure if I actually will?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I just say, I don't think I can do that today? You know, like,
Yeah.
it's just like Hollis, where he's learning now to just be like, no. And what's funny about kids, and like what's annoying about adults, because I've done this, people that I know do this, is that, say you're invited to something. Hey, Zach, you're invited to a party
Mm-hmm.
with people that you like most of the time. They're fine. And it's at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night. Okay? And it's with some friends that they came to your thing, but it's 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night, and it's the night of your, it's the night before your birthday. It's something super inconvenient. Okay? I've told my parents this, like adults this. I guess we're adults. We're 30. Older people this. And it seems to blow their fucking minds, excuse my French, that you can just say, I can't go.
Yeah.
Kids will say, no. Adults will say, well, no, because I have to do this, and then there's that, and then I'm really sorry, but I have to do this and this and this, and here's all these reasons. And it's just like,
Hunter,
can't go.
A lot of times the adults don't even say the no. They'll be like, oh, gosh, I'd love to, but
Yeah.
oh, man, I work the next day, and oh, my knee, ow, my knee. My knee hurts, and I love saying no.
Yeah, no.
It's actually sort of like an inside joke with like one person in my friend group where he and I will have conversations, because it's like this big friend group. We have this big group text. Someone in the group's going to listen to this and hear this.
Yeah.
And whenever people can't come to something, they're always like, oh, wow, I don't know. I forgot. It's the anniversary of the death of Napoleon, and I can't because I need to stay in, and I'm baking cookies, and you know what I mean. And me and one of my friends who's in this group, we've like kind of made a pact that whenever we can't, we just say in the group, no.
No.
And I do it all the time. If I'm sick or if I'm busy, but I don't explain. I don't feel the need to explain. You're right.
Yeah.
Kids have it right. Just say no.
But it's funny. Yeah, and I know we're kind of on a weird tangent, but like circling back to like what, like, dude, I go to therapy, right? I have a therapist. You know this because you met my therapist.
We talk about you all the time.
I talk about you all the time. But Hollis is like another therapist. He just doesn't realize it. And I think that's why I loved this movie, because I don't know, like for me, like, and maybe your niece and nephew have done this, and like they kind of remind you of like what matters, like, or kind of how to, like, I love how Hollis looks at the world. Dude, I hope, and maybe I'll try to, and every time I go see a movie, that I walk into a theater and react like Hollis did. He's just
How do you
like,
react?
He was just like, whoa. Like, you just see his face. He was like, oh my God, look at this. You know what I mean? But also, like, approach just living and, like, kind of life and life's dramas as, like, yeah, this happens. I'm feeling X, I don't know. And that's why I love this movie, because, like when he was reading that book to him, the Star Child book, that's when I cried, because I was thinking about Hollis and all the things that you feel, but I was thinking about myself, and like,
that's when he cried too.
Yeah, I know. And he was like, this damn book, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like Jesse kind of reopened Johnny's eyes to like just his relationships, like his family, and it doesn't have to be family, because I know some people have tough family situations, but like you can choose your family too, I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I'm just sort of talking, but I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a really random tangent. I apologize.
No, you're good. Yeah, so Jesse helped Johnny open up and
Yes.
and feel and process. And honestly, all the kids that he worked with, because even before Jesse fully comes into the picture, there was it was at the beginning of the movie, and he's doing his like talking on the microphone thing after an interview. And he's talking about some question that he asked, and he's like, and then I thought about that question for myself and like how I would answer or something. I don't know if you remember that. It was like right at the beginning. But also, Johnny helps Jesse too, like pretty tremendously, because Jesse comes from a tumultuous household where his Viv is doing everything that she can, but like you said, she's kind of in a position where she's a caretaker for two people, and she's working, and so she like understandably gets frustrated and is sometimes unavailable. There are some things with Jesse's dad's condition that are just, I guess, difficult to explain, or you want to shelter your kids from certain things, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot that Jesse is aware of, but doesn't understand, and is also aware that his mother is hiding things from him, and so there's some resentment there. And I think Johnny really helps Jesse to empathize with his mother. Yeah. In their conversations and what they talk about. So.
Yeah, I really loved this scene, because this is like, there's a scene at the end where their growth comes together, or at least Johnny's growth really helps cement Jesse's growth. Because Johnny does, I loved that scene where he's like reading how to apologize. Like, I thought that was really, really good. But then at the end, when Viv is coming back, and Johnny's like, I'm fine. He's like, he's very upset about having to go back home. He doesn't want to go back home, which I'm sure there's a third part of this story that we didn't get to see, and that's Viv's feelings of that. That's probably really hard on her, but Jesse's just like, I'm fine. And Johnny's talking to him, and I love how he was doing it. He was like, okay, but if you happen to not be okay, you cannot be. Just keeps doing it, and he's like, you can just scream, you can yell, until they both kind of let it all out. I thought that was a really, really cool scene.
The primal screaming in the woods.
Yeah, and it just sort of showing them both like just working through things. Like we tell Hollis, because he's a 2-year-old, and he'll get mad and he'll hit something or try and hit you, and it's just like, hey man, like we can't do it that way, but you are encouraged to express. If you're mad, get it out. You can hit the bed. You can say, I'm so mad. We try and hit the bed to be like, hey, I'm so mad, because you have to. But I thought that was a really cool scene. It
was a great scene. Yeah. I have a question for you.
Please.
At the end of the movie, Paul is doing better, and he's discharged from the hospital. Did you get the impression that Paul was coming home, or just back to his like apartment with his dog?
I got it as he was going back to his apartment, because she was saying like he took a job.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Like in Oakland?
You mean earlier in the movie he took a job? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he got checked into like a help facility, that was probably put on hold for the foreseeable future.
I don't know, because they actually don't even really explain whether or not they're married or divorced or separated.
Yeah. I was trying to tease through that in movie in a minute. I don't know if you got onto that.
I did.
But they're at least like separated, right? he's
Yeah, in the sense
living
that they
in
live in separate places
right.
and far enough away. Like if she's in L.A., he's in Oakland. That's 5 or 6 hours
Right.
via car. Which is fine. That's not the point of the story, but I mean, I don't know. I think maybe it's part of it. It shows just relationships. It's this movie I love, which I know that you do too. This is just like her, where I just love movies that show that relationships are hard but meaningful. You know what I mean? Like
Hard but worth it.
yeah, but the intentionality that goes into them, and it's sad because there's a lot of like people who just float through life. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to sound derogatory, like I'm on the offensive, but it's sad when when people don't really put in the work, and it's easy not to. Trust me, like everyone's done it. I've done it. What were you gonna say?
It looks like one of your earphones is like not in,
It's not.
and it's fucking with me. Like, why would you just have it dangling?
Because if I lay it down, the weight pulls on this one.
But why not have them both in? Do you want to hear if like Toby's scratching at the door or something?
No, I actually don't really have a good answer for that.
You just
Even whenever I play like for shows with my in-ears, like my actual sealed ones, I have molds that are like the mold of my ear. You know that?
do you just have one? Yeah, I know you have the in ears, but do you just
Yeah.
have one?
But I
on?
always no, they're both on, but I always pop one out. It's just like a habit.
Interesting.
It's because
always-
I like.
Is it always the same ear?
No, I'll alternate because I don't want to get vertigo.
Okay.
But I prefer this one. I prefer my right one to be in.
Yeah. I was going to
And it's
ask
because
specifically because of the vertigo. I was going to say,
Well,
watch out.
I feel like I like to, this is going to sound really strange, but you might know what I mean. I like to hear the space around me.
Yeah.
Like feel the space. Because like if you do this, you can feel like you're in a vacuum. And I kind of like to feel the space I'm in.
Sometimes. You are in the suburbs. Being in the city, I'd rather be in a vacuum than hear all the shit going on outside.
I wish I was in the city, Zach. I'd happily make that trade with you.
Yeah.
I get what you mean, though. I remember when our first trip to New York, we stayed like right on Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, bro, this is a mistake because like, one, it was
Yeah.
so bright because the lights were so bright. But it wasn't as big this time because we used a sound machine, but you know, whatever.
Sound machines are great.
It's the
I've
way
got
to go,
these
man.
I got these neighbors that people fight. They fight a lot, and it's always at like 1 a.m. Sound machine takes care of it. Just like white noise or some rain with some crickets. Although watch out with like the bug noises, because I remember my brother got a sound machine and was listening to like rain with like cricket noises, and then his house got infested with these bugs that like hunt crickets.
That's hilarious. Is that a true story? That's so funny.
Yeah, you know those little like little water bugs that like come up your drain.
Yeah.
Apparently those things like to eat crickets or something. I don't know. His house got infested, and they were like, it's because they hear cricket noises.
That's
They
so
want
funny.
the crickets. Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. Anyway, I know we just want to talk about stuff. We didn't really go through the movie, but
We talked about the movie. What are you talking about?
I'm saying like we didn't go chronologically. Like I know there's parts like when he runs away. Like I just think it's hard to really explain. Like this movie is more of a thought experiment than it is like this happens and this happens. Like when he runs away, like those kinds of reactions. I don't know. I thought it was all
So he
great.
runs
I know it's
away in New York. Well, does he run away twice in New York, or is one of the runaways in New Orleans?
the twice in New York. The first one he's like playing a trick, and then the second one I think is actually an accident by both of them.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
a good
was,
scene
dude,
because you can
I
see
got
him
super
walking away,
anxious.
and
Yes,
I got anxious
yes. I got super anxious, and I was thinking about like what I do, but also like I don't know. I just thought like this is kind of a broad statement, but like Joaquin's performance, everyone's performance, but like during those scenes, I could feel it. You know, I could really feel like the anxiety of it.
What's crazy is that all of his what might look like outbursts or just like irrational behavior. Every time Johnny calls Viv, she's like, "Oh, this is what he's doing." Like he like runs away, and then just like hops on the bus, and Viv is like, he wants to know that he's taken care of. If he runs away or if he gets on a bus, he's taken care of. That's something that I personally at times struggle with. Like I don't know. I feel like if I'm open and just like say what I want from somebody, I want them to do the same to me. And like sometimes it's frustrating for me to like have to read between the lines and just like figure something out. Yeah. But it's something that I'm working on. You know?
Well, it's tough because like that's so true, especially with kids, where it's like I don't think he knows how to yet, but he's trying to say like, I think what she says like, I feel out of control and I need to know that you're going to be there no matter what.
Right.
It was just, I mean, guys, it's a prime example. It's just like Hollis before we started recording, he was having a tantrum. I was like, you know, because people, I'm not going to say names. It's not Hannah. There are people who are, their reaction to stuff like, oh, stop crying. You don't need to cry. You know, just cut that out. Boys don't do that. We don't need to cry.
Is it Hunter?
No, it's not me. Trust me. But a big eye-opening thing is when you look at him and go, he doesn't know how to handle this.
Mm-hmm. Like,
he doesn't know how to express what he's feeling. He doesn't know even what he's feeling. And he's trying, like, this is the only way he knows how. You know? Or, like, we try not to, like, if he's running around exploring something and he climbs a rock, we don't try and say, hey, no, get off that, no. Mm-hmm. We try to be like, hey, listen, be careful, like, you can be hurt. And if it's serious, we need to say, hey, you need to get down, here's why. But people don't realize, like, he doesn't know.
Right.
He doesn't know. And your job isn't to, like, force it into them. You have to, like, show them and be like, hey, I'm going to let you figure this out yourself. And I think, I mean, look what happens. Like, by the end of the movie, Johnny's able to help Jesse, like, process that frustration or that anger or that fear or whatever. And it changes so much how you react. Like, if a baby or a kid's having a tantrum, it can get frustrating. But if you look at them and say, they don't know what's happening. And
I wasn't talking about kids, but I hear what you're saying.
Well, no, I know. But that's, I think what's
kids,
even more...
Kids, it's easier for me to deal with.
What's even more sad is when it's adults, because that is more frustrating, but it's even more sad when you look at somebody who's a grown person and think, you don't know how to do this, do you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're
like,
right.
I know plenty of older people who, and people my, our age or younger, who, like, you look at them and you kind of think, you don't know how to navigate what you're feeling. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like Johnny and his breakup. He sort of sidesteps it, just like, yep, whatever.
I wasn't sure, because it wasn't like it was a recurring problem. Like, he just got asked a question about it. He's like, yeah, I still care about her. So I'm not sure if it was like this big unresolved thing.
Well, there's a line later where, like, he's saying something to Viv, and I forget what because, like, he faints. Remember, he, like, passes out or whatever, which might have just been a physical affliction, not so much an overwhelming or a stress or whatever. But he's talking to Viv, and he's saying something, and he's like, oh, it's like, I don't know if it was... What does he say? Oh, he's saying, like, he's asking why we don't talk, and he's like, I don't know if it's because I got in the middle of something I didn't understand with you and Paul, or if it's how we got when Mom died, or if it's after I blew everything up after Louisa left me. There's that, and there's a little line where Viv is like, I think that's the first time that you said that. And he's like, said what? And she's like, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not some grandiose thing, but it's like this thing that's just sort of been tucked away, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I have a question.
Ask it.
What shirt are you wearing?
It's a Hunter
I was
Callahan
about to
shirt.
say, yeah. Is that
Yeah.
yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Look at that.
Repping the merch.
Having the merch.
Do you have a website to sell merch, or do you just do it in person?
I do have a website. It's currently under construction. It's being updated.
Okay.
And I will be selling merch once it's finished.
So we're not going to plug it yet, but
no, you can go sign up for it if you want. HunterCallahanMusic.com. You can go sign up for the email list, and once everything's done, I'm gonna start doing that. Can thank Hannah for all this. She's the one doing it.
It's awesome.
Anyway, Zach, I know that you're sick and tired.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, I
honestly.
wasn't trying to turn a phrase. I was speaking literally. You're sick and tired.
Yeah, I am.
So we
And
can
I'm
wrap
sick
it
and
up.
tired of it.
I know it's been over an hour. So, Zach, I have to ask you a very important question.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And that is, but is come on, good?
Yeah, this was excellent. I know this was an unstructured conversation about this film, but don't let that convince anybody that we didn't both thoroughly enjoy this film. I loved this film. This is one of my favorite films that we've watched this year. Honestly,
Is this going to be a golden good? We have too many.
Yeah, we have a lot. We're gonna whittle down the competition once we mid-December, middle of next month. We'll figure that out.
We'll plan out next month's schedule, and then we'll see. But yeah, I would agree. This is phenomenal. I thought it was fantastic. It's rated like 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. So like,
yeah. I knew nothing about this film. When I was researching Joaquin Phoenix Month, it popped up and it was rated well, and it had like, I don't know. I read some things that just said it's like watching this movie is like getting a 2-hour long hug, and I was like, I want to watch that. So we did it, and I'm happy we did. It was that or Gladiator, which would have been a different.
I've never seen that.
Different vibe. You haven't seen Gladiator? It's a good one.
Shall we do Every Movie Sucks? Because these reviews are making me so sad for people.
I know. I've been reading them too. Yeah, let's do Every Movie Sucks.
Every Movie Sucks. This is just one that just says, "Oh brother, this movie is a fucking drag."
Oh, goodness. Here's one that you're really gonna like.
Oh no.
Brian says, "Whoever did the sound design for this movie should be quartered."
Oh my gosh. Good Lord. This is so sad. This says HC. Oh, this is me. Half star. I want to see what his movies are first. Hold on. He hasn't reviewed anything. Wait, how do I see what he's reviewed? Let's see what he's done. Reviews. He's only reviewed this movie. Half star. He says, "This all feels so manufactured. Felt nothing. Felt absolutely nothing."
Mm-hmm.
How can you not?
Jenny Robertson says, "Lock this kid up."
I'm gonna do one more on us here. That one's too long. Actually, here. You know what? This is gonna circle back to what we said earlier. This one says half star, just says no. They don't need to explain.
Yeah.
They just said no.
La Calabra says, "No thanks, no thanks."
Oh, funny.
They tried.
Funny. Wait, this is one last one. Just because I like, just someone upon a half star. It says, whoever directed this shit clearly hasn't watched Drive. Not sure not sure what they're saying by that, but there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Zach, do you have anything else to add on Come On, Come On?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
Cool. Shindigs, real quick, before you go to bed.
It's time for the shindigs. It's time for the shindigs. It's time for the shindigs. Han's going to talk about news.
I don't know if this was official when we last recorded or if it happened when I was in New York, but the actors' strike is over.
Mm-hmm. We did discuss this.
Okay,
was like,
I thought so.
Yeah.
The biggest news. Wait, then I wonder if. No, okay. The Marvels came out, and it's mid. It's mid, as they say. I think it is fresh. I think it got like a 60 or something like that. I don't know if it's fallen, but I believe it did open. It's the lowest opening for Marvel ever, and I believe it did open lower than The Flash and Black Adam.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not doing very good. But I heard it's fine. I haven't watched it, so that's happening. Anyway, Apple TV Plus has teased a new film called Masters of the Air, starring Austin Butler and Callum Turner. John Cena's live-action Wile E. Coyote movie was shelved, but then Warner Brothers reversed course and is allowing the director to shop the movie to other distributors, which folks got really mad about because they want that to happen for Batgirl. Remember Batgirl that was canceled?
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation. Ana Nogueira, I believe is how you say her name, is writing the new DCU Supergirl film. With Sasha Calle is unlikely to return from The Flash. Pedro Pascal is apparently the frontrunner and is in talks to play Reed Richards in Marvel's Fantastic Four, with Javier Bardem eyed to play Galactus. Those are not confirmed, but we'll see.
Is that Disney Marvel or is that Sony Marvel?
That's Disney Marvel.
Okay.
We have some Sony Marvel stuff coming up. We actually have a lot more MCU stuff. It's a little bit more comic book heavy than it's been recently, but I saw a lot of stuff, so I wrote it down. Marvel has pushed some movies back. Deadpool 3 has got pushed back from May of 24 to July of 24. Thunderbolts got pushed back from December 24 to July of 25. Captain America 4 got pushed back from July 24 to February 25. And then Blade got pushed back from February of 25 to November of 2025.
Is Blade the one that... Is Blade the Kit Harington one? Or no?
Yes. He's not the star, but he's apparently going to be in it.
Okay.
And it's been like rewritten. It's been like a mess.
Did you hear? Sorry, this may be on your slate. Did you hear that the director for Kang, the Kang Dynasty?
Yes.
All right, you go.
I didn't read if he left or he got fired, but he's no longer attached
he's out.
to the project.
Yeah.
He's no longer attached, and there's another rumor that they are going to change the name from Avengers Kang Dynasty to Avengers Eternity Wars.
And shift to Doctor Doom, right?
Doctor Doom, yeah. That's another thing that they're going to pivot away from Kang because apparently, I don't know if the movies in Phase 4 and 5 have been bad because of Kang, but
I don't think so.
They've been bad. And I'm not sure if this has... I haven't heard much more about Jonathan Majors' legal issues, so I don't know if it's about that, but... yeah, I don't know. I mean, every version, they paint him out to be some crazy, unkillable thing, but every time we see him, he dies.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched Loki 2. Apparently, it's pretty good. I haven't watched it, but whatever. We do have some... So last MCU news is that Chris Hemsworth and Marvel are beginning talks about Thor 5 without Taika Waititi. So a fifth Thor movie. And then a couple DCU things. Somebody got cast. Maria Gabriela de Faria is going to play the engineer in Superman Legacy. And the biggest one is Nicholas Hoult has been cast as Lex Luthor.
Okay.
And then we have a couple... wait,
who's the engineer, like in the comics?
I don't know.
Okay. You like comic books, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. But the biggest one that I'm excited to talk about, and I think we should do this movie, is they did the teaser trailer for Madam Web. We love Marvel. I mean, Sony's Spider-Verse. We love.
Although
Morbius.
we haven't done the Venom movies.
Oh yeah.
Is Madam Web coming out before the?
I'm not sure.
Are they making a Kraven the Hunter movie, or am I making that?
Yeah, that
up?
got pushed back like a year.
Oh, did it? Okay.
But they actually released a trailer before
Madam Web, right?
Madam Web. Madam Web comes out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Let's see when Kraven comes out.
I'm gonna have a hot date. I'm gonna take her to go see
Madam Web.
Madam Web. And I'm gonna act like it's the greatest thing ever.
Okay, Kraven got pushed back to like next August. Wow. Anyway, yeah, that trailer looks awful, dude. I thought it looked terrible.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like
what's the line read where she's like
I recognize him. He was
yeah,
in the Amazon
I know that man.
Yeah.
He was in the Amazon with my mother when she was studying spiders right before she died or something like that. It's so cringe.
Such a weird line. And then I texted you today, I read about like what the rumored plot is, where it's like the rumor is that they have to see the future to save Mary Parker, who's pregnant with Peter Parker, because the spider guys come back to kill Spider-Man before he's born.
Who are the spider guys?
No,
is
that
like
spider guy, like one spider guy.
Okay.
And then then it shows all of them like in their spider costume. But the thing is like all of these people in the comic books, they all start with Spider-Man. So I don't know how they're gonna do it, but whatever.
Crossover. What if that spider guy is actually the leads the like leader of the spider people from Into the Spider-Verse? You know, the one that's like
the 2020
good and then he goes bad.
Yeah, 2099. I don't know. That'd be. But well, speaking of that, there's the rumor is that the Sonyverse characters are going to cross over in Spider-Man 4.
You mean like the cartoon characters are going to come into live action?
No. Like Sony's Spider-Verse is going to cross over with the MCU in Spider-Man 4.
Which, oh.
Like as in Tom Holland, Spider-Man 4 is going to have like Venom and Kraven the Hunter and Morbius and Madam Web, and they're developing a Miles Morales live-action film. I don't know if that's new, but I saw that.
Very cool.
So that's happening. And then the last thing is Jeremy Allen White, who's like the hot guy right now, was rumored to be cast as the new James Bond. And he said, nope. He said, I don't think an American should play James Bond. And so that's the news of the week.
There you go.
Zach, you got anything? You got any shindigs today?
Oh, the Braves have... The stove is hot, Hunter.
Yeah?
Do you know what that means?
Like yes.
It means trades are imminent, or signings are imminent. So,
Well,
the Braves cleared house last week, trading away a bunch of people for a reliever, non-tendered some guys. We signed Ronaldo Lopez, who has some good stuff, it looks like. And reporters are also already saying, like national reporters are saying, it looks like at this point in time, the Braves are going to have the best bullpen next year, which will be, I mean, that's strong statements after just signing like 2 or 3 guys. So I think right now where we stand, our 40-man roster has 31 players on it. So that means we're
Yes.
going to be signing or trading for 9 more players
we got
that
a lot
will
of
be
players.
on the active roster. The most recent report that I'm really excited for, this was 56 minutes ago, and this is the first that I've heard of this. You know, they say that, you know, the Braves are going to do their due diligence on Aaron Nola, and they actually made a really good offer to Aaron Nola. It was going to be $27 million per year. He decided to stay in Philly. I think AA probably didn't want to give him a 7th year, 6 year. I think it was a 6-year offer. Anyways, we're tied to Sonny Gray. We're tied to. We're going to do our due diligence on Shohei Ohtani. That would be insane. I do think when you have, and I saw a tweet about this. This is going to be like the Braves 5 minutes, and people are going to be okay with it. The Braves weren't they called America's Team for a while because TBS
they were on TBS,
and they were broadcast, and so we have like this wide fan base. And now we have international stars like Ronald Acuna, Ozzy Albies that bring in, the Latin American market and the South American market, right?
Mm-hmm. What happened?
Sorry, I don't know. Something loud happened in the hallway. See, the thing is coming out. Like, what was that? If we signed Shohei Ohtani and secured we would be the international baseball team as well. I think, honestly.
Well, there's a big pitcher from Japan coming over too. I think his name is like Yamamoto.
So that's the most recent report I have. So this is the first that I've heard of this. The Braves are reportedly in on Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So he got posted today. Teams can't even talk to him until tomorrow at 8 a.m. So he hasn't talked. His agent hasn't. Well, I mean, you know how they do it, but his agent hasn't like officially talked to any teams. He hasn't talked to any teams. He hasn't met with anybody because he had to be posted, I guess, from his league that he's playing in right now. He had to be posted for free agency. So starting 8 a.m. tomorrow, we're gonna see where that goes. That'd be insane because he's like a phenom, 25 years old, and it'd be crazy.
Well,
so we're gonna sign Sonny Gray. Sorry.
No, you're good. You said 5 minutes.
Shohei Ohtani, Sonny Gray, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. We're going to sign Jock Peterson. We're going to sign Cody Bellinger. And we're just going to do this thing,
Let's do it.
That was only like 6, and we have 9 spots.
We got 3 more to fill. I love it. Zach, that's very, very, very brave of you.
The bravest thing I've done all week.
Whiskey shots?
Yep. Time to take a shot of whiskey alcohol in our mouths. We do this for whiskey. Oh, did you just do it?
No, it's just water. I have whiskey right here.
Okay. I heard you. I was looking down, and then I heard you say, and I thought you took your shot.
No, this is for whiskey.
This is for whiskey.
It's a whiskey.
Oh, good. Tell them where they can find us while I have a coughing fit.
You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at But Is a Good Podcast. You can find us on X at BIIG Podcast. You can find us on the emails at biigpodcast@gmail.com. Also, But Is a Good Podcast @gmail.com. You can find me at Hunter Callahan Music everywhere. You can sign up for my email, like we said earlier, huntercallahanmusic.com. You can find Zach on Instagram. He doesn't ever check it, but sometimes at Zach with an H to the number the THA future.31. And we're going to be doing Napoleon next week. And everybody have a good Thanksgiving to those who observe this holiday. Rock and rolling.
Y'all, do y'all like cook a turkey, or do you just like get like a honey baked ham, or like how y'all do it?
We do 2 turkeys actually, because there's a lot of people that come over here.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie, like I don't even like turkey that much. Well, actually, I do because I don't really eat pork and stuff. A unless it's from Nina and Rafi's. We had that the other day, and bro, that's the best pizza in Atlanta. Anyway,
You were at Nina and Ralphie's the other day?
yeah, it was for Hannah's birthday. We had like her family and stuff. We met with them and we had lunch. But yeah, they did like deep fry turkey,
Mm-hmm.
and they like inject the skin with like buffalo sauce. It's
Are you fucking kidding me?
so good, dude.
What do you mean?
Like we get like these injectors and we put it underneath the skin, just underneath it, and like fill it up with buffalo sauce.
So there's like a layer of buffalo sauce in between the skin and the flesh.
It's like, yeah, but it's like deep fried. I could eat literally just the skin, dude. It's so good.
Huh.
You can come over if you want to.
Isn't deep frying turkey really dangerous?
Yeah, I don't do it.
Cool.
Are you coming down this week?
Yeah, if I'm still coughing my head off, maybe not. But the plan is for me to be coming down Thursday, Friday. Maybe stay the weekend. So
Cool. We can record in person if you want. I'm gonna cut this out.
We could go see Napoleon in person together.
Yeah, they actually talked about like Hannah's family wanted to go see it, and so if you want to come, by all means. I don't think that they bought tickets yet.
Cool.
I want to say they're looking at
but
Friday.
then we'd have to go to NCG.
We would have to go to NCG, but we're looking at Friday if you want to go.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Cool.
We're still we're live right now.
Yeah, I got. I think Chase said that he really liked how on The Shining we just cut off mid-sentence, and so I'm just gonna do that again at some point.
Okay. Are you gonna do it before or after I talk about? But is it good podcast? Yeah.